Good afternoon and welcome to today's postgraduate information session on MSc International Business Management. Thank you for taking the time today to join us. My name is David McKinnon and I'm part of the student recruitment team here at GCU, and I'll be your host for this 30-minute session. Before we begin, just a couple of quick housekeeping notes. All microphones and cameras are disabled during the session to ensure a smooth experience for everyone. And if you have any questions at any point, please pop them into the chat box you see on the right-hand side of your screen, and we'll answer as many of those questions as we can during the Q&A session at the end. I'd also like to let you know that today's session has been recorded. It will be available on the GCU YouTube page in the coming weeks, so you'll be able to watch it back or share it with others. Now, I'm pleased to introduce today's presenter, Dr. Vasilios Doratis, who will be speaking about the MSc International Business Management. And I'll hand over to Vasilios now. Over to you, Vasilios.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the webinar. I'm just here to introduce the MSc International Business Management to you, and a little brief information. It's a snapshot, if you like, of what the program is about. Do let me know if you can't hear me, and feel free to ask any questions in the chat. So the MSc International Business Management is a flagship course at the university, at the business school. The MSc International Business Management course is a popular and important, if you like, industry-recognized course. And the university itself is delivering this course in Scotland, in Glasgow. So as you can see, between the campus and the location of the university, the important point to note is that the university is surrounded by an ecosystem of other universities, between Glasgow, Edinburgh, and Stirling, that place it in a great location, both for visiting the country, but also a great location for any student to be able to interact with academic opportunities, employment opportunities between two large cities in Scotland, and also conferences and other opportunities for engagement with the academic community and employers. Okay, so the location of Glasgow Caledonian University in Glasgow is quite strategic, if you like, due to its proximity to many, about 7, 8 universities and colleges, along with industrial hubs and employment opportunities. So what is the MSc International Business Management? The MSc International Business Management is a general flagship master's which, as the course says, aims to equip students with leadership and interpersonal skills required for a successful career in international business management. So this includes varied roles in international business, which then the students eventually funnels down into a specific topic of their choice. And we'll get to that in a moment, what those may be. Central to the program is, of course, the personal and professional development of the students, including international and UK, of course, employment opportunities. Okay, so the ability to manage self and others, to have an understanding and awareness of responsible leadership and current affairs, a cross-cultural awareness of international business practices, including large firms, multinationals, and smaller firms, and global citizenship, meaning what is going on internationally and how can I be competitive in the international workplace. So the key characteristics for learning and teaching of the program are split into two fundamental elements. On the left side, the program delivers the university's common good principles, which stand out industry-wide due to the fact that they are quite unique in the sense of the focus of the program regarding ethical business practice, entrepreneurial mindsets, which includes a link with the program with startup hubs and the university's startup incubator, responsible leadership, as we said, global citizenship, an emphasis on sustainability and sustainable practices, the role of the global citizen in the global industry, and of course an element of cultural diversity, which includes, for example, many case studies and tutors and lecturers from international context, examples from many different settings, including Global South, UK, EU, and also US. So these principles that are embedded in all the modules stand out in the program delivery. From there, the program focuses on learning and teaching characteristics that are quite important and, of course, fundamental. For example, critical analysis, theoretical underpinning of each module. Every module is linked to current research for both academic and industry, and practical techniques for problem solving, guest speakers and case studies, which included in every single module. There are opportunities for guest speakers, both from industry, but both our tutors, which are um, many tutors with international experience from international markets. Case studies from both the UK and international markets. Problem solving, debates, and group work are fundamental elements of the modules. Experiential and active learning, meaning flipped classrooms, working from studying at home, but then also engaging in the class, is a fundamental element of the program. And of course, role and situated learning. So the mix of learning and teaching characteristics includes both group work, individual work, written assessments, and case studies, and role play, for example. So allowing, depending on what are the needs of the modules at hand. So this overall preparation the program offers allows a student to then break down and spin off into a specialization of their own interest from there. So as we can see, the mix of modules is based on current industry practices and current industry needs, especially in the UK, and also allows for, similarly to the MBA, to have a similar amount of general knowledge of all topics that then allow the student to spin off from there. For example, one of the modules is Global Strategy and Sustainability, the flagship module of the program, which discovers and breaks off elements of understanding what is an international business, how is international business conducted, and how can we understand when a firm is conducting business and in which ways internationally. From there, we break on to modules such as contemporary issues in international business, and presenting relevant topics and recent topics in international business affairs, international operations management, our HR module, ethics, sustainability, and governance, our sustainability module. It's very pertinent in the current job market and very pertinent when it comes to corporate social responsibility and sustainable development goals. International approach to managing people, our HR module, confused. International operations management is our supply chain module. Financial management for global decision makers, our risk and finance module. International marketing management, our marketing module. And developing leadership for the common good, our leadership module. From there, of course, we move on to the research methods and the dissertation that the student needs to conduct to complete research. And the topic for that final module comes from usually the direction of preference from the previous module. So as you can see, it's a wide mix of modules that is very current and pertinent to the recent international business situation and current affairs. To get an idea of the assessments, as we said before, the program offers a variety of assessments, so both testing and enhancing the skills of the student, but also allowing for fairness and in the type of distribution. So we start off with, for example, individual reports, sometimes with 50%, sometimes for 100, and of course distributed in the timetable in a way that allows the student to have maximum time to complete and do their best efforts possible. Presentations, essays, it's different from the report, or more of a critical and academic document, and group work, again, individual reports, group presentations, which is necessarily the same as group work, delivering, for example, an essay as a group, an individual essay, and of course, at the end, your dissertation, a bigger document for which the student is supervised by an expert. Now, along your journey, you will find many, many, very practical resources to help you out in this program. The first one being, apart from the program team themselves, the library, which will include every resource necessary and access to every online material in the modules, so there will be nothing missing from what you need to complete. Everything is available, including databases, freely, and it is an excellent space to be able to sit and work. The Career Center, of course, very important for students considering employment, very important to consider employment in the UK, and it can assist you in preparing CV, it can assist you applying for work, it can assist you in interview preparation, mock interviews, practice interviews, and of course, job searching, both at graduate, placement, and part-time. But always important to remember that the program team can also suggest and guide you and help you in employment opportunities that may be available, because it will also depend on the expertise and the type of employment you look for. Now, usually the IBM graduates, to conclude, tend to be employed in a variety of roles, and this has extended to third sector even recently, making it quite a big spectrum of opportunities. Typical destinations include business consultancies, sales management, for example, and international trade, financial controllers, but similarly also international HRM, business development managers. And these graduates have provided companies with important analytical and organizational skills, and especially growing through the years, helping them identify opportunities, solve problems, and of course recommend support activities. Recently, graduates have also been very much in demand in other organizational settings, such as non-governmental organizations, charities, third sector, public sector, and the very much growing in the UK social enterprises, as they operate in the modern, culturally diverse, and sustainable dynamic environment. So it is a program that really, due to its mix of modules, ranges in spectrum of opportunities. Now, as a final point, and of course feel free to add questions in the chat, where do you see yourself in your future career? And I'd be happy to answer where, for example, adding some examples on the slide, and do you think that the program can fit in your interests and your career goals, whether they are working in the UK or whether they are working in the home country? So thank you very much, and I do look forward to any questions.
Thank you very much, Vasilius. That was a great presentation. As I say, we'll move on to the question and answer part of the session now. As mentioned earlier, post any questions you have in the chat box for us. Vasilius, if we get any questions, if you want to read them out first and then answer them, just so we can capture it on the web recording as well, so we know what the question was. Vasilius will answer any program-related questions, or any questions about admissions or in general. I can answer those as well, hopefully. So just type in your questions for us. Don't be shy.
Yes.
I do imagine somebody's sitting there typing a really long question, so we'll give them some time to see that they can ask us any questions. It'd be very unlike IBM students not to have any questions, I think, wouldn't it?
Usually there are, yeah. It's quite a popular course, so hopefully there is something. But of course, feel free to ask any type of question. What is in the modules? What are the modules like? Employment opportunities.
We'll just give it a few more seconds. We'll see if anybody posts any questions. And if they don't, we'll assume they answered all the questions during your presentation. Okay, I think it doesn't look like we're going to get any questions today, but that's absolutely fine. So that brings us to the end of today's session. I'd like to thank Vasilius once again for his time and expertise, and a big thank you all for attending today as well. Just a reminder that this session will be available on the GCU YouTube page in the coming weeks if you'd like to revisit any of the content. And we hope you found today's session helpful, and we look forward to hopefully welcoming as many of you as possible back to GCU for your postgraduate studies.